So today we are going to be talking about this. Looks like a normal piece of wood, right? Well, it's not. It's rotting wood. And in the world of a bioactive enclosure, it can be magical. This magical addition to your enclosures is at once food, shelter, and moisture control, and it can be an amazingly beneficial part of the foundation of a living ecosystem. It's an incredibly powerful natural material that you can add to feed the various creatures in your bioactive enclosure, to stabilize humidity, to grow beneficial fungi, and to keep your micro-worlds thriving. We're going to discuss how it rots, what benefits from it and why, and also how to utilize it in your setup. Note, rotting wood is also called dead wood, coarse woody debris, decaying wood, decomposing wood, wood decay, or often in the hobby, rot wood. It all starts with a tree. A tree that was cut down to make way for nature trails, or for conservation efforts, or to prevent overcrowding. Maybe the tree fell down in a windstorm, or after a lightning strike, or maybe it simply grew too big for its root system to support its weight. Either way, tree fall down, go boom. So it starts with that tree, then the tree breaks down through various natural stages. These stages are incredibly, beautifully, amazingly complex, but I'll break it down without getting too deep. Stage 1, the tree hits the ground. When a tree falls, bark cracks, wood fractures, and moisture moves in. Spores and microbes arrive through the air, through rain, on insects, and through soil contact. Stage 2, the sugars get consumed. Simple sugars and starches in the sapwood are eaten first by bacteria, yeasts, and early molds. This produces heat in bigger pieces, also moisture, and a scent that attracts bark beetles and other insects. They tunnel into the bark, and that opens the wood to oxygen, water, and microbes. Then freezing and thawing in areas that get snow and ice expands any cracks even further. Stage 3 is where fungus colonizes. Once those sugars are gone, fungi, which had already began colonizing earlier, take over. Mycelium spreads through the wood, beginning cellulose breakdown. Springtails, mites, and beetle larvae arrive to feed on fungal growth, and it forms the base of this really cool food web. At stage 4, the structure breaks down. It's the white and brown rot stage. White rot and brown rot fungi accelerate decay by breaking down lignin and cellulose. The wood softens, gets weaker, and it becomes biologically accessible. This is when isopods and millipedes begin feeding directly on the wood. Stage 5 is advanced decay, also called punk wood. It's an old English term for rotten or crumbly. The wood becomes dark, spongy, and it's easily crushed by your fingers. Isopods, millipedes, worms, and beetle larvae convert that fungal-rich wood into nutrient-dense material. This is also where predators like centipedes move in to hunt, because this is where their prey concentrates. This is a great stage for bioactive enclosures. The final stage, 6, is soil integration. Eventually the wood completely breaks down. The leftovers become part of the forest floor, feeding plants, microbes, and the next generation of life. This entire process can take years, even decades to complete, depending on the environment. So now for the big question. Why is rotting wood so good in your little microcosm? I'm going to answer that after this. Here's the part where I ask for a like and a follow if you're digging these videos so that I can feel validated and loved. Thank you. Animal species use rotting wood in various ways. Some eat it, some hide in it, some hunt around it, and some depend on the things that it supports, like these things. Isopod collectors. Land isopods have evolved to digest cellulose, lignin, and hemicellulose with the help of specialized gut microbes. And rotting wood is high in that stuff. And at stages where fungi and bacteria have softened the wood, it makes it easier for them to chew. Here's an example of isopods literally living in their food in nature. Cubaris, species like rubber duckies and panda kings really benefit from adding it. Armadillidium love it. Porcellio love it. There is some overlap with leaf litter, and as I mentioned in my other videos, and I can't get sick of saying this, abundant leaf litter is essential for all isopods. It really is all that they need to thrive. Some species like dairy cows and zebras, for example, are more leaf litter oriented, but in all cases, rotting wood is beneficial in their enclosures. Think of it this way, leaf litter is kind of quick energy, and rotting wood is slow nutrition, and it's also full of minerals. You collect these guys? The ones with 1,000 feet? Well, actually, it's more like dozens to hundreds of feet. Actually, I think there's one species that has 1,000, probably in Australia. Well, they need rotting wood in their environment. In nature, millipedes spend huge portions of their lives inside decomposing logs, from shelter to food to overall health to breeding. Millipedes eat decaying leaves just like isopods. They are saprophages, which means organisms that eat decaying organic material that have been partially broken down by microbes. And those microbes also help their tummies, their very long tummies, break down cellulose and lignin. They are built to mechanically process decaying plant matter, especially wood that has already been softened by fungi and bacteria. They don't just eat what's left on the wood after it breaks down, they eat the microbial, They eat the microbial life growing through it. So millipedes get a balanced gut biome, they get beneficial microbes, they get pre-digested fibers and reduced gut stress. They get that at stage 3 to 5. Mama millipedes also usually lay eggs in soil rich in decayed wood or lay eggs right inside soft punky wood. That way the new BBs get delicious, soft, decomposing nutrition to start off a healthy life. If you have a bioactive enclosure, then you should be very familiar with these little guys. One of nature's great cleanup crews, Springtails. They run around eating mold, waste, poop. They also really benefit from rotten wood. Not because they eat the actual wood, but because they eat what grows on the wood itself, the biofilm and bacteria that coat the wood structure. Then as they graze, they stimulate new growth by mowing it down. All those pockets and fibrous holes give them plenty of surface area to feed on. And because rotting wood holds moisture so well, it's a perfect breeding ground for fungi, spores, yeasts, microalgae, and then it also provides all sorts of protection for the babies. Mama springtails lay eggs in cracks, and then the babies grow up in this kind of jungle gym of complex holes, safe from predators and also eating what grows on and inside the wood itself. It's a perfect home because of its stable humidity, stopping babies and the eggs from drying out. So if you are raising colonies of springtails or adding them to another enclosure, rotting wood can play a huge part in their survival as well as helping to grow your colonies. If you're thinking of using it for frogs, dart frogs and tree frogs are super sensitive to their environments. Because they have very permeable skin, a lot of stuff gets through it, and even though rotting wood is an amazing moisture buffer for a froggy environment, they could react to certain molds or fungus, which the other creatures on this list don't have issues with. So I would not recommend it for them. So where do you find rotting wood? The easiest place is through specialized vendor shops or specialized online vendors or vendors at reptile expos. In the GTA or the Greater Toronto area, there's basically one every few months throughout the year at the Airport Convention Center. It's that way. Some great specialized vendors sell bags with larger pieces and also smaller chunks. I have purchased both there, and it's a good source for rotting wood if you don't live near forests. But nothing beats going for a hike in nature, so that is my preferred method. If you are hiking, no fresh wood, no wood with sap, resin, or any strong smells, no treated lumber, fence posts, or landscaping wood. Avoid roadsides, sprayed areas, industrial or agricultural zones, because this spongy wood is going to also soak up contaminants, chemicals, and salts. Hardwoods like oak, maple, beech, and birch are ideal. Most softwoods are conifers or evergreens, and these can work once fully decomposed, but avoid anything with resins or any sort of stickiness unless it's completely broken down. One very important note, identifying the tree species can be difficult, and there is one that you do not want. You. You do not want yew. Let's watch the YouTube subtitles, figure that one out. Yew, Y-E-W, is poisonous at any stage. So if you see branches that look like this near the trunk, move on. It is not worth taking that risk. Bring gloves, bring a garbage bag, expect dirt, expect bugs, that's all normal. It's so much fun. Whee! I collect from fallen logs on top of the forest floor, in fields where they get exposed to rain. You can collect wood that's partially buried, and from areas that stay naturally damp but not flooded. You are looking for soft, punky wood, stages 4, maybe in 3 to 5. If you can dent it with a fingernail, crumble it with light pressure, or snap it easily, then that's the good stuff. Collect big pieces, collect handfuls of crumbly punk wood, just do not over-collect. There's a lot of rotting wood everywhere, but it's still important not to mess with Mother Nature. Please don't waste it. Also, give it a tap at the site where you found it before you carry it away in a bag or a box, just to remove any hitchhikers. You will need to treat what you have collected. Why? Possible harmful pests and other potential problems. Now, people bake, boil, freeze, or soak their wood. What has 2 thumbs and soaks? This guy. I soak in room temperature water and no boiling. Boiling destroys the cell walls of the good stuff. I don't want to nuke the great beneficial bacteria and the fungi that makes the wood rot valuable in the first place. So if you nuke your wood in, let's say, a microwave or any other method besides soaking with no boiling, you're basically killing every beneficial organism in the structure. It's an empty wood condo with no good tenants to help build your neighborhood. Also, microwaved wood smells like mistakes and regret. I also don't use tap water. I use distilled water or reverse osmosis, RO water, because it's chlorine-free, chloramine-free, mineral-free, and chemically neutral. This way we don't have any extra stuff that might mess with the microbes.
Hey, you messing with me?
A soak does several things. A long water soak, I give it 24 to 72 hours. 72 hours is very effective at several things. It removes excess tannins, it recharges the wood with moisture if parts have dried up, and most importantly, it either kills or forces out air-breathing pests that hitchhike in the rotting wood. A long soak floods air pockets, and the pressure of sitting under that water helps to push out trapped air bubbles. Not all of them, but as many as we can. The point here is to remove any oxygen, and if pests have access to any trapped bubbles, then they use it up during that long soak and suffocate. The water will usually flush these hitchhikers out to the top or to the bottom. What kind of hitchhikers? Well, there are mites, like predatory mites, grain mites, or parasitic mites. They breathe through spiracles and then they drown. Ants, worker ants, larvae, eggs, they all need oxygen. Spiders, the adults and the egg sacs. Spiders can actually go underwater for a little bit, so again, 3 days should take care of that. Beetle larvae, those squishy wood-boring larvae, definitely need air. Centipedes, like spiders, they can actually hold their breath for a little bit, so 72 hours is very helpful. Also, small millipedes, yeah, they're adorable. But you probably don't want them in your enclosure or on top of another species that you do want, and a soak will help with that. Slugs and snails, these things have to go. I actually didn't treat some wild moss in that I put in my vivarium, and I'm still pulling them out a year later. After that long soak, we should be left with only the good stuff, which includes beneficial bacteria. Many tolerate water and some do better in super wet conditions. Fungal mycelium, just like bacteria, they do well in high moisture. And then sometimes springtail eggs can survive a long soak, though unfortunately the adults won't. Though, if you're lucky, they will float to the surface and then you can collect them and use them. So you'll need a few things for soaking. A new mesh laundry bag from the dollar store, or some fiberglass window screening, a plastic 5-gallon bucket or a bucket that is taller than what you are soaking, and anything heavy that won't contaminate the water. Rotting wood is porous and it can trap air inside, and we want to weigh it down to keep it below the water level. And then of course we need distilled water, or RO water. And there's a second way, which uses a large Ziploc freezer bag. If you have a lot of wood to treat, you can put your piece or pieces in that mesh bag and scoop in handfuls of the punk wood. Zip or tie it up and then place it at the bottom of the bucket. Instead of the laundry bag, you can also put fiberglass screening on top. It just may get a little bit messier. Put a few large stones on it, fill it to above the level of the wood by quite a bit, and then give it a shake to release any trapped bubbles in the mesh. Give the bucket a swirl a couple of times a day to clear more bubbles. Now the other way, if your pieces aren't too large or if you only have handfuls of crumbly punk wood, is the freezer bag that we just talked about. Basically fit as much as you can into the bag, make sure it closes. Fill it to the top with water, squeezing out any trapped air, and then prop it up somewhere in a sink or a plastic container with the zip side up, just to make sure that it does not leak. Then 24 to 72 hours later, no, we're going with 72, you have wood that is ready to use in your enclosure. Just to be extra cautious, we are going to put the wood in a sealed container for a few days, and we're going to check in on it often. We'll spritz it with a sprayer. We're going to hit it with a flashlight. We're going to check it with a flashlight. We're going to move stuff around, and we're going to carefully inspect the pieces. If you find any hitchhikers that made it through the soak, then we need to, quote unquote, take care of those. Remember, the more patient you are, the better. So how to use it in your bioactive setups. For isopods, crush some of it and mix it in with the soil for evenly distributed nutrition. Put a few small chunks in half buried or a large chunk so they can graze and hide. For millipedes, exactly the same as with isopods, mix it in the soil and then small chunks and larger chunks. If you have the room in your enclosure, get a nice big piece in there to keep them extra happy. Springtails need access to this directly to graze on and lay eggs on. Keep it in the wetter zones, sitting on damp sphagnum or just resting on the top layer of moist soil. If you're breeding springtails in charcoal tubs or a charcoal leaf tub or just a leaf tub, then just plop a few pieces in above the waterline. And that is another one done. You will benefit from watching your new, even more naturalistic enclosures thrive with the addition of this magical wood. Thanks for watching. Magical wood. Magic mouse, magic keyboard, magic trackpad, magic wood. Does this sound like an Apple event? It's okay, I use Apple products.